how many of you know someone who loves listening to music or loves making music? Whether it's a piano, whether it's drums, whether it's a saxophone. This is our third video in our Autism Awareness series that we're doing for our Homelife video series on our YouTube channel. And we're exploring reasons why we might recognise certain interests and professions for people with sensory processing difficulties and how those professions might meet their sensory needs. So when we listen to music, when we're playing music, there's so many senses that are involved, so it can be for a whole range of reasons and possibly relate to any of the sensory systems. But I'm going to highlight some of the specific ones that it might be relating to mainly. But ultimately, have a conversation with that person, ask that person, find out why they use music to be an important part of their life. So music's highly emotional. It's very calming. It might bring back memories. It's fluid. It can express emotions, and so a lot of the time it might be that someone's feeling through music as well. And I'm not going to talk too much about synesthesia. That's where any of our senses might cross over. So we might see letters as a certain colour. We might relate visual and letters. We might hear sounds and see colours, or we might hear sounds and see shapes, or we might eat food and that food reminds us of a colour or a flavour or a shape, not a flavour. When we're thinking about emotions, let's think about our interoceptive sense, or our internal awareness of where our body is. That's what helps us to feel about our bodies. So music may well be relating to communication of our interoceptive sense, our well-being of who we are and what we're doing. However, let's think back a little bit more to basics. So if we think about sound, creating music, I'm creating lots of sound. I'm also controlling that environment. So a lot of the time it might be relating to someone who's hypersensitive, so low threshold, receiving information that they are creating. So sound that they love, sounds that they enjoy, helps them to then block out all those other sounds which might be just too overwhelming or difficult to discriminate, difficult to process. However, it might be that someone's seeking sounds as well. So when someone's hyposensitive to auditory information, they may well look for vibrations as well. So we hear through vibrations. So someone might love playing music, but instruments like saxophones, where you're also feeling that instrument and then the air that goes through it and the vibrations that creates, that's going to create a lot more auditory information through your body, as well as the sound which you're creating from the saxophone itself. Proprioceptive awareness, when I'm playing the piano, I'm really aware of where my hands are. Sometimes in schools you might recognise teachers doing little wake-up activities with fingers before we do writing. We're doing that when we're playing the piano for ourselves. We're giving ourselves that body awareness. The same with drums. When we're drumming, we might use our feet as well, but I'm really aware of how much force and how much pressure I'm using on the different drums and the different cymbals. Amazing for proprioceptive body awareness. Tactile, if an instrument, if I'm playing a violin, feeling the strings on my finger, feeling the bow, feeling the vibrations that instrument makes, maybe giving me more tactile information. Or it might be the holding of the object, it might be that something's really heavy, or it might be that something's really light. Visual information, so reading the music. I know a lot of people that are amazing composers and they just are able to recognise the difference and what's needed within a composition to be able to make that music just sound amazing. So being really interested in visual information, being able to recognise the changes, being able to recognise errors, being able to try things and maybe know how that's going to sound. Visual, writing music, but it also might be the high contrast of the piano, it might be an actual instrument itself. But for other people, they might play music because they're hypersensitive to visual information. So again, similar to the sound, they might use the music and the creating of songs and listening of songs to actually override the overwhelming feeling of visual information. So if I'm hypersensitive to visual information, I'm processing too many sensations. So I'm going to do something to block out. So I might start mono-channeling. I might start focusing on the sound and not on the visual. So if I'm focusing on the sound, I'm playing this and I'm removing that visual focus, which I may have had otherwise, especially people who are able to pitch perfect, play tunes. They don't rely on that visual information from the music. They're able to do it all from their ear, and it's absolutely amazing skill to have.